Jay, thanks for joining me.
Yes, of course.
Thanks for
My pleasure.
Thanks for taking your time. Thanks for inviting me to your place. What a place!
Takes some time putting a lot of stuff together. There's probably 20 years or better of just here, there, finding things that you like, you don't like, price is right to gather it up. It's taken a while.
But that's what I like exactly, because that's how you're creating the story and uniqueness of your approach and your taste.
Most of the things, 99% of the items in here are real, not reproductions.
Yes, and that's the big thing right now, especially in 2025,
Yes.
where you can, you know.
It's hard to, you really need to examine whatever the item might be. The reproductions out of countries like, for instance, India, and I'm not bad-mouthing India, are so good and the quality is so good, you have to be careful. I used to buy things off the internet, but anymore, if I can't see it, feel it, I don't. I usually don't buy it unless it's a friend that I know very well. Yes, it's. I found back in the business I was in before I put one of these cars, it's much easier to sell a genuine item than it is a dud. In other words, it was easier for me to sell a $50,000 horse. It's much easier than trying to sell a $1,500 horse. Because the two people you're dealing with, the different people you're dealing with, a whole different ballgame. That's one reason I preferred to build my cars, because I knew exactly what I had when I got through.
That's true.
There's a lot of really, really talented people out there, and then there's some that really like to, for whatever reason, put a lot of Bondo in, put paint on it, and call it a pig, you know.
Yeah.
So you have to be extremely careful.
Any advice, maybe talking about exactly about your collection here? I mean, what I see, what I learned during of my short time here around and experiencing few car shows, maybe swap and meets, that it's nice to do a little road trip.
Oh yes,
to some of the states.
That's one reason that I love to go back to Texas, because I know all the little small towns and where to look. And if you speak the language and don't get silly, you can ask the local body shop or the local mechanic, look, I'm looking for this or that. And usually they're friendly enough to tell you, well, Joe down the road here, he's got a collection of stuff. He's got a lot of junk, but you know, you can dig through it. He's a nice guy. So it seems as if South Florida, junkyards, good places to hunt for stuff is not near as fruitful as you would. You get back into the Georgias and North Carolina, South Carolina, Texas, Mississippi, southern part. For what reason, I have no idea.
Yeah.
But most of the items you see in here, probably 80%, 75% of them are from the Texas area, Texas, Oklahoma, New Mexico.
Yeah, you mentioned Texas, so you're originally from Texas.
Correct, yes, my whole life in Texas up until 23 years ago when I moved to South Florida. Yes, raised cattle, horses, primarily performance horses, cutting horses.
Nice, wow.
And I finally decided I had done enough, and I always wanted, I can appreciate a alcoholic or crackhead to a degree, because once you get these old cars in your brain, they don't go away. And drag racing, to me, never goes away. When you hear a 426 Chrysler crank, you got to go see what it is. It's like a moth to a flame, you know. So, but yeah, spent my whole life in Texas, primarily as a rancher farmer.
So, rancher farmer, but right now you have pretty unique selection of cars, and you're a huge car enthusiast and connected with hot rodders, cruising, joining little cars and coffees, you guys there. How your story with the car started exactly? And how old are you? You were back then, maybe.
I was probably in my 50s, and I had a hard time at night sleeping in that particular point in my life, and so there's a 57 Chevrolet sitting over here, the black car. I would go and work on it from sometimes at 11 o'clock at night till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
Go and get a few hours sleep, and then go about my daily chores. I finally decided that the tail had wagged the dog long enough. It was time for me to retire. I had my little piece of the pie. There was still plenty of the pie on the table, and I wanted to go do some different things, as did my wife. So we came to South Florida on you could almost say a day trip. We traveled by RV, so we come down to visit some friends, and came down, and we were looking for a place to retire to, and found South Florida and loved it. So I made 2 trips down and went back to Texas and sold horses and cattle and John Deere tractors and hay balers and you name it, sold it all and moved to South Florida.
To enjoy
It was time, yes.
To enjoy our sunny area here.
Yes, definitely.
Any favorites cars? I mean, we have right behind, which is our main topic today. It's your fantastic Ford.
Yes, the Ford. I wish I could say that I built it. I did not. Bought the car out of a street rod show up in Louisville. I got to be very good friends with the gentleman that built the car. It's got 23,000 miles on it, and he drove it that many miles. I've probably driven it a couple of thousand. Very dependable car. I bought the car simply because of the fact I wouldn't have changed it in any shape, form, or fashion. I put a set of Buda rings on it and started driving it. It's one of my favorites because it's so dependable. It's very, very, I would get in it and go a couple of 100 miles, wouldn't have a problem with it. My 57 Chevrolet, I've had it for 40 years and I've rebuilt it twice, and it's a very dependable car. I've totally enjoyed it. My wife told me that the car would be last to go, I would be next to last to go. She kind of likes it too.
That's nice. That's nice that your partner is sharing exactly your passion too and your taste.
Yes. The 409 car, I have my heart in front of my head because it was bought new in 1963 by my good hunting buddy at the time when we were in high school. And knew the gentleman that bought it second. He kept it running, and when it became available from him, so it's a 2-owner car with me being the third. So I kind of have and it's a Texas car, and so I guess you could say I had my heart in front of my head on it. But I hesitate to drive it on the street too much because during the season here it's a little crazy.
It's becoming crazy, It's becoming busier every year.
Yes.
Everybody finding out that our Sunshine State has a lot to offer, and the weather is pretty nice, especially for car guys here. We can really cruise 12 months. Yes, we're getting a little rain, during of summers, but it's still not too bad.
It seems as if from, say, November through April, you can find a car show at every 7-Eleven or every corner.
Yes, little meets. And that's another question exactly. I wonder if you have any, your favorites, meets or car shows, or what you like to do exactly with your group of friends, because I know that you have pretty nice group of guys with it.
We usually will pick out a car show. We have a little Thursday morning cars and coffee, and we'll pick out a car show, and maybe 3 or 4, maybe 6 or 8 of us will get together and meet at a filling station somewhere and go.
Yeah.
Back 4 or 5 years, 6 years ago, I like to go to the larger shows with my cars that I built or had built, simply because I wanted to see if I could be competitive, even as an old man that was more into horses than cars at one particular time. I just wanted to see if I could be competitive and build a competitive car.
Yes.
it's like anything else in life. You have to pay your dues, and I didn't expect to beat the big boys, but I at least felt like I had built a decent car, and if they stopped and looked at it, that's what I wanted to do. But the travel, the hassle, the going through, it just got too much. So I just like the small local car shows where I can go for 2 hours or 3 hours and come home. Yes. They suit me better at my age. The sun, the weather, and everything else beating on you. At my age, it's the smaller.
Meaning little local cruises and local meets.
Yes, definitely.
Which is plenty of them around, and we have really nice group of guys and pretty unique selection too. So good group of online-minded guys.
And they're the type folks that, if you've got a problem, they'll help you with it as far as cars goes. Or you need this part, or you need that part, or a vendor, or a body shop. There's always an information exchange between the group, and you know who to avoid and who to go to get radiator fixed or a paint job or whatever the case might be.
Going back to Texas exactly, because that's area which I experienced year and a half ago, and that was pretty unique also for me. I'm grateful for that. I got invited for a little road trip to Austin, Texas, road trip in the classic cars. I did a few road trips. One of my big one was exactly on a long time on my bucket list was Route 66. First I was overthinking too much, 2018-19. As a photographer, I wanted to make sure that I will really approach this right way and I will get some unique footage and photographs capturing the culture of the United States and the matter of road the right way. I extended a little bit through Pacific Highway 1 and entire Grand Circle. So it was quite a big road trip for me. I did 10,000 miles during one month. But right after that, exactly, I got invited for the road trip in the classic cars, which we did in the 61 Metro with my friend. International Harvester, and 37 Chevy was with us as well. 3 days, one way, 1,300 miles one way, so altogether 2,600 miles. A pretty unique experience, especially that not covering anything. The Chevy had some issue on the road, so we are fixing here and there. Again, what I learned, what I was always wondering and thinking how to approach something like that was easy fix. Cars back then, if you were prepared with few wrenches and few parts or even advanced part store somewhere around and you had a little knowledge and you were handy, you could fix this. Not comparing to what we have right now where you have hundreds of sensors in your car. You're gonna pass through some Kentucky or something like that. You were stuck in the middle of the field and nobody will help you because the technology moves so fast and so far. But Texas, I
found, especially in smaller towns, if you break down smaller towns, there's always a shop that will usually help you out, especially if you're in an old car.
Yes.
But yes, and unfortunately, I feel like in this day and time too, you can't ask for a mechanic because you will insult someone. You have to ask for a technician with a laptop.
Yeah.
And to me, that tells me automatically we have no experience here. And of course, this day and time, you have to have a laptop to be able to diagnose whatever sensor's gone bad. Where in my day and time, it was a process of elimination.
Yes.
You take the carburetor apart, and sooner or later, you'll find what's wrong, put it back together, and you're good to go again. And it was pretty simple, and I'm a fairly simple person. So in this day and time, I have a dear friend who travels in his 32 that you met all over the United States, and his attitude is, I have a credit card, I have a cell phone, and there's a road. There's a town right up the road, and if I break down, we'll get it fixed.
Yeah.
Me, I'm going down the road, I'm listening for those noises that come out of different places.
Yes.
So I don't like to venture too far from home.
But what would you say about Texas? I mean, you're right now a few years here in Florida. You experience the hot rod, classic car scene. Of course, we are here all meeting also, like especially you guys from all over the United States, because you're spending a little bit of time here, a little bit there, some of them. any big difference you see?
Yes, especially the camaraderie. There's a similarity in Texas, and still in this day and time. If you're going down, let's say, a farm-to-market road in your pickup truck, most of the time you're going to get, as you meet a car, if it's a local car, they will wave at you. You will get, hello, how are you? I find the same in this car culture here. Even though we're from all over the United States, there's a camaraderie, there's an understanding between, and there's no one-upsmanship or this. It's just we have an interest in cars, and they're friendly. And folks are friendly in Texas mostly. Fortunately or unfortunately, the case may be, is in South Florida, Texas is growing, and South Florida is growing, and starting to lose a little of that small town friendly approach. And the main reason we came to South Florida was the fact that if you said hello to someone in the morning that you didn't particularly know, they didn't look at you like you were an idiot, or that you were trying to whatever, you know. I think I fit in fairly well in Southwest Florida, but I just like the friendly people. They're friendly back in Texas also.
But talking about cars, you see any differences in the cars really, in the choice of the year period or body style, or?
No, not really. What I'm seeing is my generation, the 57 Chevrolet, and you can take years on either side however far you want to go up till, say, 66, that particular era is starting to be not as popular as, say, from 66 up through Corvettes, Camaros, Ford products, Chrysler products. So there's timeless cars. There's 34 Fords. There's 57 Chevrolets, 57 Fords, and those will always be classics, and there'll always be cars that people will want, remember. But I see it shifting to newer models.
Okay. So you see this shift.
Primarily,
We have something quite special in my hands. Would you share a few words? What is it?
Yeah, it's a 57 Ford Custom, and it's not because it is a custom. It's actually the model name from 1957. It came from the factory without a back seat. Six-cylinder car, probably was a sample car, whatever it generally was used for. We transplanted a 5.4 blown Ford engine into it with transmission rear end and used Ford computers.
Wow.
Actually used a Ford piggyback computer that converted everything that you really don't want. It actually even had a tuning port that you could tune with a laptop. I'm a carburetor guy, but I must say, after this car was put together and got the bugs out of it, it was probably the most dependable car that I had built and had built. It won, took it 2019 to the 50th anniversary of Street Rod Nationals at Louisville, and it was voted the best Ford in a Ford, and also made the top 25.
Wow.
So I was very proud of the car.
That's fantastic.
It was a pleasure.
Congratulations. That's quite an achievement.
Well, as I told you earlier, one of my desires was to see if I was able to either built a car that would be competitive on a national scale, and I feel like this car was pretty competitive.
Showcase
now,
of that,
am I going to compete with the big boys? No, but it was a competitive car.
And then you have another one here.
Yes, this has been in my back of my head for a long time. It's a 62 Bel Air bubble top.
Show me this. I'll pass this to you.
And it was voted Custom Rod of the Year finalist at Good Guy shows. It'd been in the back of my mind for quite some time, and it was actually built in my mind, what little mind I have, before it was completed, knew pretty much what I want, and it was a very competitive car also. Had a lot of fun building that car. We put a Art Morrison chassis under it.
Yes.
Before Art Morrison was offering a chassis for X-bodied cars, X-frame cars, so they were a pleasure to work with. Because I had another car that had a Morrison frame, and we took all of our measurements and would call and visit with them. They would call us back and say it would work, this wouldn't work, and it was had the distinct pleasure working with a gentleman in Naples, Florida, that was a chassis builder. So they helped us, we helped them. It was a pleasure. The car it was fun to build. It was a fun build car. It was.
Unique choices, both of them. I see this 62 Bel Air and then the same Ford.
Yes.
Pretty unique choices. Anything behind choice of those cars?
I'm going to say I'm probably my favorite to look at would be the 62 Chevrolet. But as far as driving and just being a pleasure to be around, if there's such a thing as a Ford, because it was so dependable. It was a very, very dependable car. It would give you exactly what you asked for, and at my age, I probably didn't be asking it some of the things I asked it to do, because it was a very powerful car. Very powerful car.
That was great, Chuck. I really appreciate your time. Thanks
pleasure.
once again for
My
joining
pleasure.
me, sharing your unique place here and amazing collection of cars, story behind them. And thank you.
Thank you, Peter. It's been a pleasure.
Thank
you.
you.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks.